Just tell me when. Right. Evening and welcome to the Highland Village City Council early work session. Today is June the 23rd. It's 6 p.m. Show that council first and Jaworski, and we have sitting in Kevin Laughlin. We have Chris Metcalf, our attorney tonight. You guys come. Okay, we're going to get started with a presentation regarding the use of artificial intelligence in the city of Highland Village. Sunny, are you doing this?
That would be me, yes, ma'am.
Yay.
Is it really sunny?
Is it really sunny doing it, or is it awesome?
It's cloudy outside right now.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. Really appreciate the opportunity. Actually, it was Councilman Nelson who requested this a little while ago. So we were just, calendar and everything. This was just the best time we could get this presentation on. There we go. So I'm going to keep this really top level. I know we can really go into the weeds, but I'm going to really try not to. Just kind of give you an overview of where we are and what our current plans are. So as you know, a lot of software already comes with some form of AI baked into it. But I'm also going to talk about some of the generative AI packages that we've already purchased and where we're planning on going with those, and some use cases that we're currently using them, and then some future use cases. So things like ESO, Zoom, and potentially our future website already has AI kind of baked into it. Our network monitoring system does GIS software, and then we've actually purchased a couple of ChatGPT licenses. So in the ChatGPT licenses, we currently have 26 of them, and then we're currently paying $9,600 a year. The police department has Blue Voice, that's their version. They have 44 of those licenses and currently pay $6,500 a year. And then we are experimenting with Otter AI, and I'll show you the use cases for that, in which we have 2 licenses for that we pay $385. We have a group of what I call my AI ambassadors. So a group of people who really have been taking this by the horn and really want to run with it. And so I've kind of put together some of these power users in the departments. And we've met once online, but we've also talked through chats and emails and stuff. So they're members from multiple departments and they're assisting in the rollout. So they were my first test use group. And then it started out with 8 licenses, and then we went to another 8, and then, another 10. So we have completed an AI policy, and we just rolled that officially out this week. Thank you to HR. Training, I'm currently working on training. It's partially completed, and we'll be rolling that out in July in different segments. So there's going to be AI training baked into the cybersecurity training. That's state mandated. That'll be coming next week. I know you guys are excited. And then we'll also be putting on a lunch and learn in-house that the IT department will be putting on for all employees. So some current use cases, obviously we use it a lot in our department. Keith is definitely one of our power users. We use it a lot for error checking, log checking, things like that, some light coding and training materials. Parks Department has been definitely a leader. I want to give Phil a shout out for being definitely one of our champions of the program. He's used it for programming ideas, graphics, minutes, transcripts. I'm going to show you guys I'm going to attempt a live demo to show you how we were using it for the minutes, transcripts. And then in some of the other departments and report writing, police department ordinance lookup, that's what they do with their Blue Voice. In HR, they've used it and assisted with drafting memos and training materials, planning department, minute transcriptions. I also want to give Autumn a shout out. She's done a lot to help me kick the tires on some of the things that we've created with it. So I just really want to say she's been a big help on that. International building codes, Gary asked me, because I guess in the future, you guys, we're moving from our 2015 to 2014. So he asked a very simple question: what's the difference between the 2015 and 24 international building codes? And let me tell you, there's a lot of differences. So anyway, it spit out a huge summary of everything that's different. And then I asked it to cite its sources. And then it even had a PowerPoint presentation that it cited, that I gave that all to Gary, and he's like, wow, this just saved me hours of trying to do this on my own. In the communications department, Jenny says she uses it. She writes of course, they write everything themselves, but they will run it through chat to check for brevity or clarity, just to see if there's a different way to reword it. Future use cases, so this is what I'm working on, is we have an HV only document hub, which is kind of its own sandbox. So, you have chat that goes out into the wild, wild west and gets whatever it gets from wherever it gets. And then what I'm asking it to do is actually create a sandbox where it only pulls what we feed it. So I'm feeding it all of our ordinances, I'm feeding it a lot of our documentation, I'm feeding it a lot of budget. I just put in 3 years of the budget book into it, so that when I ask it a question, it is only searching in these parameters. It's not bringing in the stuff from Frisco or McKinney. It's only searching inside its own sandbox. And it's, that's really where I've had a lot of help from both Angie and Autumn on that, and giving me questions to feed it to see how accurate it is. And so I asked for 3 of the biggest, or not biggest, but 3 of the most common questions that both departments get that are not easy enough that they have it all memorized, but it gets asked often enough that they have to go and look it up. And so I fed that into the system, and of the 6 questions, it got 5 out of the 6 right. And on the 6th one it got wrong was because it literally did not have the data. It was a sign question that Autumn had, and what was the sign regulations for the shops versus the marketplace? Well, it gave us the same information for both because it didn't have the marketplace regulations. I hadn't uploaded that much of the material. So that was a really great exercise because it was very authoritative. It thinks it knows everything. Whenever it answers, it's never going to tell you, I don't know, right? It's going to pull something from somewhere else. And so that's going to be part of the training materials that we talk about. But anyway, it was really great to have the subject matter expert of Autumn to be able to say, no, that's incorrect. It's actually pulling the data from this one section and applying it to both when they're different. So I love that it got that wrong because it really allowed us to go down the path to show that we really need to keep feeding it more information. It did not have all the information it needed to answer those questions.
Quick question. So right now everything's internal, makes complete sense. What about like Texas state laws? It's external, but on.
Absolutely. So I am kind of playing with what I want it to do is, okay, so I said I wasn't going to go into the weeds. There is a way to create a token to say, I don't want you to check all of your models, but I want you to go to specific outside areas. And so Allison and I have been reading how we can go about doing that. And so we got halfway down the 6-step list. I actually got to step 3 and we ran into a couple of roadblocks, but we are continuing to go down that path and I know we can figure it out. And so what we're going to do, because one of the things I want to do is to have it to read directly from the website itself, instead of having me to download the ordinances, turn them into PDFs and then feed it into the hub. That's my current method and that's really clunky. So I really wanted to say, no, I want you to pull all the information from this specific website. So we're working on that. It can do it. It says it can do it. I just have to work my way through the code for that. A document specific hub. So another hub that I created was for HR to upload only HR documents. And so HR can use that as their own sandbox and search for things that only they want to look at. So I can start to build these for various departments. What the future looks like, that planning on that Q&A section. So the document hub works really, really well internally because we have those subject matter experts to be able to verify if it's correct or not. It's not ready to go external. So I would not feel confident enough in its current infancy state, to be able to put that on the website and use that as a Q&A for residents to get information, because it's gonna feed back information, but it may be wrong. So I like the fact that we're keeping it internal for the time being. Now, in the future, can we say that, you know, we get it so robust and we've kicked it around for a couple of years and we can't seem to stump it? Then that may be a good time to make it external and be it a Q&A through the website if you wanna look up, you know, what is your swimming pool, you know, setbacks, you know, and be able to type that in and, you know, it answer that.
How can we ensure that the information is accurate? You mentioned two things.
Yes.
One was it was wrong in one category.
Uh-huh.
And you also mentioned that subject matter experts said, no, this is wrong.
Correct.
How do we keep from that happening over and over again?
Well, there's no way to really prevent it from coming back wrong.
But how do we know
answers.
it's doing right?
Right, so what we're gonna do as part of the teaching, and I think I've got that on the next slide, but what we do as part of the teaching is that at the end of every single prompt, you say cite sources. And when you say cite sources, it gives you a hyperlink to every paragraph it comes back with. And so we are going to teach that as part of you using this tool is that you hit that hyperlink and you see what that source is. Is it a valid source? Is this an accurate source? That's what we did with that building code thing. I said cite sources, and the first thing we did was hit every one of those hyperlinks to see if they were legitimate sources. Part of the training. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, camera search, yeah. I was gonna say, and camera searches. So right now, we're not using this. I do know that, like I said, these are kind of future use cases where, you know, we have a lot of camera footage from over a 24-hour period, and say PD is, or Parks Department is looking for a certain incident. And so we manually have to search that, right? You can do some basic searches like time periods and things like that. But if we want to get to the point where you're really using AI for this type of searching, you know, again, this is a future use case. We're not currently using it, but I do see a need for that, or at least an opportunity where we could use it for there, which would save the man hours of combing through this video by hand. So it's a tool, right? It's just a toolbox. It's a tool in the toolbox. Yes, it has teeth, it has sharp edges, right? It's not the bluntest tool, right? But I believe with training and caution and warnings and explanation of open records and what's expected, as well as, you know, source checks and that transparency for the public and citations, you know, that there's a use for it. And I feel like not only is there a use for it, but I feel like there is a use for it now and an extended use for it in many of the departments as we continue to roll this out, especially with the training. I think once we roll out the training, we roll out some more licenses, we're gonna see that there's even more use cases that I hadn't even, you know, thought of. So with that, I was gonna attempt, let's see if it'll let me. You know, they always say never do live demos with, you know, technology or children or animals. So I'm gonna try, see if I can pull this up. Got my code in time. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, it timed out. All right, I'm not gonna take up any more of your time, but if you wanna swing by my office later, I'm happy to you know, show you the document hub and show you what we use it for. So basically I typed in things like, you know, what are the pool regulations in the city of Highland Village? And it only searches our ordinances, and I ask it to sort the sections, and it, you know, brings all that information back that we were gonna do for it. But are there any other questions? Comments, concerns?
I have a lot of questions, but I think it's more aligned to the future use cases
Sure.
around governance and legal exposure, especially if we people facing there's new Texas state laws and AI governance type
There are, and so one of the things we are taking into consideration is, like I said, open records requests. So not only are the products themselves subject to open records requests, but the prompts
Prompts and
themselves
alternatives.
are subject to open records requests. So that's gonna be part of that training, is to let everybody know, don't put anything in there that you don't want to be in the headline of the Denton Record Chronicle, all right? So, that's just, I've got a couple of scary stories I'm just gonna put in part of the training, just to say, this happened in real life. Somebody put in their entire email box and, it leaked out business secrets and almost crashed the company, and they got hacked, and it was, these are real things, but, that's part of that training and that teaching that we're gonna roll out.
Right now, the
next month.
implementation is just internal to the city, right?
Correct.
It's not accessing.
Well, no, yeah, so chat's doing both, right? So the people who have chat licenses have the option to do both. So they can put in a prompt, a regular chat, GPT-5, and it goes out to the wild, wild west, or they can specifically put that same prompt into just the Highland Village Document Hub. So you have options, because there may be times when you do want to look up, oh, what are other cities doing in this area?
Because you can also attach documents to your AI prompts. If they're doing essentially an external search and they attach internal document, are there controls and checks on that? Because if you do an external prompt with internal information, then that is provided to.
Training and teaching, that's the prompt. The human side is what we have as far as that.
Did I hear you say that was gonna be part of our training?
Yes, the cybersecurity training. So part of the legislature this time before is they added that we have to add an AI module of up to 15 minutes that'll be tied into your cybersecurity training.
Which is coming soon.
Which is coming soon, in a near box near you.
I'm gonna do mine in German.
That's great.
All right.
All right, well, thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it.
Kind of scary.
Oh, yes, so it's also part of the training is, like I said, I actually had to create the flyer of all the do's and don'ts for prompts. So like, one of the things is write a response to GOQ Smith about his delinquent water bill. Well, that's a no. And then, draft a response to a resident about a past due utility bill. So it's, kind of make it fun, but yeah, that's part of the training, is to teach them how to use the prompts properly so that they're not putting in information that we don't.
See, yeah. See red flags everywhere. Okay.
Just another
Thank you, Sunny. Review the capital improvement program budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. Heather?
Mayor and Council, time again for budget, but frequent budget work sessions are coming in your near future. So with the capital improvement program is the first item that we touch on in the budget process. It's basically, we're just going to receive a status update on the existing debt issues that we have outstanding, and then review future debt issue consideration. So back in 2021, we issued a $15 million certificate of obligations. $8 million of that was for street and drainage improvements. And this is the budget at the time that we issued the debt. And this is summarizing just kind of where we stand for each item. For the Highland Village Shores and the Highland Village Road, the 2021 bonds funded the engineering. We issued back in 2025 a certificates of obligation to fund our share of the construction. Benton County has is going to help, going to fund 50% of those projects. Then we have various streets reconstructions. We had an original budget of $3 million, and we are complete with phase 1 and phase 2. We still have outstanding phase 3 for Oak Street and Purnell, Gale, and Cedar, and Meadowwood. And then for the overlay projects, we have Selmeyer Lane. Those are going to be scheduled, one being bid in 2026, the others in the next few years. We have Highland Shores Boulevard, and we had completed that project in 2025 along with the pedestrian crossing at Highland Village Shores. And then we had the traffic signal at Brazos and Highland Village Road, and that was completed in 2024. And then the drainage pond adjacent to Walmart and the Qualco Pond Dread is a project we're working together, and so is anticipated to be finished 2020. And then we also have the Highland Shores Boulevard under drain. And then we have Turpin Drive and Selmeyer Lane drainage improvements and Silverthorne Park Creek bank stabilization and Brazos Boulevard under drain. Any questions on this slide before I move? So far, we just spent a little close to 5.5. So this is in reference to the 2025 bond issue that we issued last year. We have an interlocal agreement with Denton County on the Highland Shores Boulevard, in which they had obligated 50% of our project. So we're ready to bid that out later this year. And then Highland Village Road, we are ready to bid that out probably early fiscal 2027. We just need to confirm the timing of those bonds with Denton County. So the other piece of these bonds is the park improvements of $6.4 million. We just kind of reviewed this at our last work session. But this is the original budget for these bond funds. And it included, the Highland Village Tennis Center, Highland improvements, community park improvements, and then various parks. This slide is just updating where we are on each of these items. The tennis center lighting is complete. We end up just only replacing the fixtures. And then we reviewed the Highland No improvements in pretty depth last session. This is displaying the option 2 that we reviewed previously. Currently, all we have expended or committed so far are related to professional services and geotechnical survey. I do want to mention that we have expended $180,000 engineering costs for Pilot No water and wastewater, and that amount is going to be reimbursed to the utility fund. Paid for it, so the core lease parks operating budget is going to reimburse. And we have Unity Park improvements. Everything is complete with the exception of Unity Park avian retainage baskets and the Unity Park field renovations. And then for the various park improvements, we have the Selmeyer Playground replacement and the Brazos athletic field renovations that's still pending. Everything else is completed. So far, we've committed, almost $2 million. Just as a reminder, with the full, all the projects are estimated at 7.6 million, with 6.4 being funded through the bonds, and then 1.2 grant. Any questions with this? Okay. Back in 2024, we issued a tax note of $2.7 million. This is the budget that we established at the time of issuance. This is an update of what we've spent so far. As of today, for fire, we have one of the ambulances, the brush truck, and the portable radios delivered. And then for parks, we had a large tractor delivered. And then for streets and drainage, all equipment have been for fire, we still have one ambulance that has been ordered but is pending delivery. And then for parks, we have a few items that the orders are pending. And I just want to mention the Workman 2 under the parks. This was in our general fund budget, and I'm recommending that we move it to be funded by the tax note because we have the capacity and funds available. Any questions on?
Workman.
Yeah, Workman is a small utility vehicle.
Oh,
That's just what it's called.
okay. Figured it was two people.
Any other questions? Police had originally had a Skywatch tower on the schedule. Last year, they did a supplemental request requesting to change it to a drones program that going and be feasible. So they are requesting another supplemental request budget year to change the program. So you'll hear that later in the budget. Okay, so future bond issue considerations. So we plan to issue bonds in 2028 for $10.1 million. Included in that would be some street and drainage projects for $3.7 million. And then we had a facilities assessment last year, and there were some things that were identified that need to be repaired and for bond. So that's $4.8 million. And then there was, we had plans on issuing another tax note in 2031. It's like a 7-year program. So it was 2031 would be our next issue. But we have a fire apparatus that's been needing lots of repairs, plus supplier, it takes about 4 years to build the fire apparatus. So we're going to recommend moving the issuance of 1.5, which is the cost apparatus, to 2028, and then issue, because our intent was to issue about $3 million of tax note every 7 years. So 2031, we would issue so 1. So with that, this is, if projected for fiscal 2031 would be some additional street and drainage improvements. And then also that tax note, the remaining part of the 3 million. And so according to our financial policies, our debt policy, we need to maintain, or our target for our interest in seeking portion of the property tax rate is 12 to 16%. And so this just demonstrates kind of in the net, through 2033, what our rate, our percentage was. We would just want to, the maximum amount is 20%, so to trying to just kind of stay in the 12 to 16. Any questions on? And that's really all I have on the capital improvement plan. Just to kind of give you an idea of what we have planned for the rest of the summer. July 14th, we're going to review the general fund. On July 28th, we'll review the special revenue funds and also approve the 4B budget and the FBCIP. And then August 11th, we'll be looking at the utility fund and consider a tax rate and also bring the budget amendments. And then August 25th, we'll have a general fund follow-up as needed. September 15th, we'll have a special meeting for the first read of the public hearing for adoption of the budget and the tax rate, and then a second hearing on September 22nd. And I know we may have another session in here somewhere. I don't have the time anyway yet, so I'll update you when I know.
Yeah, that's, she just mentioned, yeah, we just need to figure out.
Where would be the best?
I would say before July 14th, if possible.
Before July 14th?
Wouldn't you think so? If we're gonna really talk about the general fund and the issues with property values and.
Yeah, together.
July's next week.
I know, I don't know who did that.
There's a big holiday in there.
That's right.
Wow.
Or we can take one of them, it's probably more lengthy.
Let's look at our calendar.
Wow. Okay. All right, questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Or too many. You'll have that opportunity.
All right, so next on the agenda, we have to receive a presentation, discuss, provide direction on an art project, Unity Park. Bill?
Good evening. Hey. All right, so I sent the packet out on the, let's see, the Parks Master Plan, the Public Arts Master Plan. Did you guys all receive it? It's a big document. You're familiar with it, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of reading material, but explains the history of why this falls under the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. So, the question, you know, and this kind of goes through what that information was. And one, I can read it or let you read it. Okay. So art in parks is important because it enhances the visitor experience by providing a deeper connection with the environment and fostering the community engagement and telling a story and making the park more meaningful to a broader audience. And it sets a direction for moving forward. In addition to that, it provides a sense of place as well. So our village and our vision comprehensive plan on page 57, high priorities for investment, and page 68. And here you can see that this is one of the priorities is art programs. And I don't know why I highlighted that. I apologize.
Art and music therapy.
Yeah, I'm reading it right there, so ignore that. But just making a connection back with a comprehensive master plan. That's something that Parks and Recreation, we have been trying to do ever since it's been adopted. And we've been doing a pretty good job of it up till now. And this is one of the other initiatives. We worked this out through Park Board. And one of the things that I did with Park Board is I provided some examples of art in parks and on trails, and this was one of them. This is in Houston in Discovery Green, Chicago, Polk Brothers Park, and this is use art. I think, Mayor, I had even showed you this at one time. You had asked about those seatings or those seats. This is interactive art, St. Louis, where you're, interacting with the public using chalk, adds a question. And of course, the famous Cadillac Ranch in West Texas, Northwest Texas.
The Panhandle.
The Panhandle, there we go. Destination art. And the bean, the giant bean is world famous. Wouldn't want to touch it though when it's about 110 degrees out, 30-degree burns. But Las Vegas, Pipe Dream, this one's interactive, makes music. Representative art, Dallas Rush Hour. This is downtown Dallas. They don't look too happy, do they? Must be a Monday morning. And rainy. So I presented a bunch of options. We worked on this for approximately a year, a little greater than that. And I came up with some final options to provide the board, and the board landed on one option as something to move forward, and that's what we're gonna get to see here in the slide. So concrete benches was one of the options. They're paintable and they're sustainable, they're heavy, they're fun. And this definitely is something that can be adopted by a school, a community, HOA, a sports organization, things like that, depending on where you put it. It has obviously a function and form. You can use it for seating. The cost of the benches range from $1,100 to $2,200 shipping, and the total is about $3,600 to $5,500. And this is just a concrete prep and what they recommend in order to apply paint to it. Next one was a art hunt idea. I saw this doing some research. I think it's somewhere in North Carolina, probably Charlotte. But adopt a theme. You're able to pick up a passport at the city hall, placed throughout the city, clues, and almost like geocaching. And you hunt for the art piece, and that would connect the community with parks and parks with the business community. So you'd have these at different places throughout the community and points of interest. And these are just some ideas that I presented and the costs. I like the Roadrunner one. And then an art hunt, famous artist Van Gogh, passport, same thing, placed throughout the city, includes social media. These are about $34.50 to have customized. We also even have Texas artists that we could do, and we place them at different places throughout the city and businesses. And just another opportunity to gauge the community and can make connections with our trails, our parks, and our business community.
So the art hunt, would that be placed inside or would it also be outside the park?
It can do both.
How would you, put them outside?
So like, let's say the Duval Center. It has an eyebrow that's metal and it goes all the way around the front. And you can easily put a small 4x4 sticker up in the corner and just write a clue that leads you to it. And then inside of a building, like a business, kind of the same thing.
Okay, I was thinking it was like larger pieces, but it's just like
Yeah, they're not 4" by 4".
okay, I was thinking like 4 feet by 4 feet, like that little
No,
art
no,
picture
no.
that would be posted somewhere.
We could do that too, but it would be pretty obvious. It's not that big. And then we look at wraps. Some amount of wrap, our smaller wrap, 8x4 sheet of plywood, and it's printed on metal, and the plywood just holds the metal. So Unity Park was one of the options, greeting from Highland Village, and I took this picture of an iconic Texas mural, if you will, that speaks about the different things in Texas. You can do that with Highland Village and talk about the different things that make Highland Village unique and different. And this is an example of where it can go. This is at the Unity Park baseball field. Gray wall, it's begging for something. Gets a lot of traffic there. And this is on the opposite side over it by the softball complex. And over here to the left is the pickleball and the dog park and kids castle. So just another example of what that could look like. So the cost for a wrap is $1,500. It's installed on a 1/2-inch piece of aluminum composite material. Concrete benches, just to look at the options all together. We have the concrete benches ranging from 36 to 55. The wrap at $1,500 each. Art Hunt anywhere from $139 to $34 for 2. And then this is funded by the city's art fund, which is the current balance is $7,800. This is revenue that we generate from renting art space at the art event that we have over at the shops. So we haven't done anything with it in a while, so it definitely can be funded. And this is more of a kickoff. We would, like to see the community involved and sponsor, things like this. So the budget numbers that were provided reflect current pricing and provided by vendors. So please note that these estimates may change due to market fluctuations, change of materials labor availability, and other economic factors beyond our control. But that's what we have. So our proposal, or what Park Board, I'm looking at Hogan because he was on the board, what they had chose was to go with the wrap. 2 wraps at $1,400, $1,500 each would be about $3,000. Yes, and I'll take questions.
Did y'all either look at or predetermine the location of the benches if that was the direction to go?
We talked about it, yes. We didn't give an exact site, but we know places like Unity could use those benches, Lions Club. I mean, you can pretty much put a bench anywhere, even on a trail, as long as it's ground.
And that price was per bench, correct?
And then it's, prepping and then painting. Yeah. And, like I said, the intent was, and Hogan, jump in anytime, was to kick off and get the community excited about what the possibilities can be. And if we generate some positive feedback and some, momentum, okay, what's the next thing that we do? It may be the benches. Would you consider, PTA sponsoring a bench?
Yeah.
Now, the wraps themselves, what would the material be that is put onto the aluminum, or it's not painted? I mean,
Oh, no, it's
a printed.
Yeah, it's vinyl.
Okay.
It's a vinyl type of material. It's what we use for a lot of our park signs now, like our park rule signs, things like that.
Can you take it back to your bench options?
Sure. one of the things that came up was the maintenance on the benches. And, the park board felt like, something that was easy and quick, and can be done pretty quickly.
Yeah, 'cause what was the turnaround time of these benches?
Oh, it was, I think it was 8 to 12 weeks for delivery. And we look locally, we couldn't source anything locally, so they'd have to be ordered. We even looked, we went to Denton and looked, they made they made a bench out of those old windmill fins. And it's at their train station. It's pretty nice, but those are very expensive. They're custom made, they range from 4,000 to 6,000, my recollection.
And the cool part about it was the benches could be placed in any way to be used as a bench. And then it could also be painted by whatever we want to determine being the artist. It could be one of the schools having their classes come out. It could be a local artist. It could be some other painting. And it could change if needed. If we wanted to do it in a couple of years, we wanted to change the design to something else, somebody could say, hey, I'll sponsor this, I'll pay to get it done, and here's the art I want to put on there. And you can get that approved and go through it. I think the big thing was everybody wanted to just get moving on something quick. Because the way this originally came about for the Parks Board recently was the tunnel was gonna get repainted underneath 2499 over there on the Greenbelt. And as a part of that, we were like, well, why don't we try and make it nice and make it a mural? If you're already gonna paint it, why don't we try and turn it into a piece of art? And we had a lot of meetings on that. We had a work session on that. Then it ended up not needing to be painted. And we were like, there's too much going on here in the first place. It's gonna be a lot of money to coordinate all of this as well, because it's a long tunnel. So then Bill came back and started showing some of these other options. We liked the benches, didn't really like the price. And then for the art hunt, we thought that it was cool to have that, and I like it. But it's not something that really was gonna be a good initial stamp. We were thinking something that would beautify a space, that would make a big significant difference. And our ball fields are very utilized by people who are not a part of Highland Village as well. And it would very much be hey, this is Highland Village, welcome in. Now we're focused on not just giving you a great experience at the ball fields, but we also want you to be able to appreciate the space that you can see.
So we're seeking some direction. Do you like the wrap? And do you like the wrap idea? Are you,
Yeah, I think the wrap idea goes, to your point, it makes an initial impact. It's visible and follow up with the benches. I like the idea of the benches on the trail system in certain places. Don't have the money to do but one or two of those, so I'd rather do the wraps and get the initial if we can.
are you okay with using the art fund too? Because the council is the one that decides how that money is used. Of course, we would, the process with getting a design, we would create parameters within Park Board. We would, and some of it is already established, not established, but that I spoke about, was using, a theme, Highland Village.
Like a postcard.
Yeah, exactly. Is everyone good with that direction?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna develop what that looks like, in terms of, public, school, things like that, taking ideas, work with Lori and her department. Look at those options, allow folks to send things in or post it, I'll work with Lori on that. She'll help us decide how to best get that information in and then run it through Park Board and have a session where we're actually choosing and providing the top 3 to 4, and then presenting them to council, based off of their recommendation. And you guys would finalize that as well as the budget. Sound good?
So for these wraps, let's say they do get vandalized. I think we talked about this, but how easy would it be for us to clean it? Is there gonna be a top coat or is that vinyl gonna be more resistant?
They have a protective clear coat over the top of it. And
Like the benches, but
well, the benches would be a spray. This is actually built in as they print it. Either,
it would be easily cleanable if needed.
yeah, it depends on the level of vandalism. I mean, if someone takes a knife to it, it's someone puts some type of heavily corrosive, material or art or substance on it, it'd be difficult. But the thing is, you know, in Highland Village, and I worked in South and East Dallas and DeSoto, we don't have,
Near the flow.
oh my gosh, no. We just don't deal with it in a park system.
Right.
And a lot of that is attributed to the fact that we have a very, very, very active park system.
And I think you
It's
talked to
phenomenal.
Louisville too, and they said they don't have much vandalism with their
Oh,
arts either.
no, them and
We asked
Flower
about
Mound. Yeah, we did. Those are questions that generated out of the meetings with Park Board.
Mhm.
So the locations are still on the community and those,
Mhm.
did you look at any of?
No, I mean, we left the door open for that, but this was low-hanging fruit. You know?
Phil presented those two and we liked it,
Yeah,
so we didn't talk about any other options.
No, I agree with the amount of people that are at that park throughout the entire year. It would be extremely beneficial to have something like that out there.
And as for funding, I know one of the big objectives too was getting potential outside funding from people who would like to donate to the arts
yes,
here in the city.
yes.
Is there a potential for marketing and trying to see if anybody's interested in jumping in on this initial
Well,
project?
I'm hoping to work with Friends of Highland Village
Mm.
Park Foundation as an initiative and work with them, because this is going to help them also get out there besides just doing the troops. So I think this would be a perfect project to work with them on.
No comment.
Yep. But yes, we are, if that doesn't work out, and even if it does, you know, I'd have to talk with Lori about what that looks like in getting sponsorship for future art edition.
HVBSA, any of the businesses that are right there at the Bowery or on the other side of 407 might be interested in trying to do something like this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Even our sports organizations, you know, Highland Village Area Baseball and Softball Association. We haven't even talked about to see if they want to help pay for this. You know, what I wanted to do was provide a solid funding source. But the next step is, hey, we're putting this on a complex where you're the primary tenant. We would love to see you chip in. You know, what does that look like? 25%, 50%? Is there anything in terms of the design that you would like to see, or things that you think would be good to put on a form in terms of what we're looking for as the art project itself?
Are you gonna be putting out a bid for this? Are you gonna be reaching out to any of the local, like, art teachers or anything?
Yes, we're gonna form that through Park Board like we discussed.
I might be leading you with some of these questions.
Yeah, okay. So we know that, you know, Louisville, LISD has that whole arts magnet. So part of that was also having a discussion with them and what that looks like. And then also looking locally at Briar Hill, McAuliffe and Heritage, you know, what is their level of involvement with something like this? Do they want to get involved, especially Briar Hill? Because this is right behind Briar Hill, right here. That was a direction we're gonna head in terms of contacting folks for input. But is there any input that you want, or any direction you want to give me outside of what I have here in terms of a possible direction to go?
What does it look like getting these school art programs involved in a context to submit ideas and let us look at?
Yeah, you want to come
So
up?
we've done that actually before, years ago when we had the Red, White, and Blue Festival. We contacted, it was the Dale Jackson Career Center then at the time, but they had a graphic arts class. And they submitted designs for a logo for the Red, White, and Blue Festival, and we ended up using 2 of the logo designs that they submitted. So working with them is something that we've done in the past and we could do again, to create a design for us. You know, we talk about this park being such a community area, and a lot of different activities that take place there. And I think something like this, we'd want it to belong to the community. And so we'd want to reach out to our residents and ask them, what do you think ought to be on a piece of art like this about Highland Village? What are things that are stick in your mind about Highland Village? And then we can pull from that, talk up to an artist
about what we want to have designed for that graphic artist.
The thing that I like is it really separates us from other athletic venues. You don't see poster art like this at athletic venues. And my kids in sports, and then in the position that I'm in, I visit a lot of athletic venues in the North Texas area. So this really provides a unique sense of place for Highland Village. Very, very unique. So I'm excited about that opportunity. And then if it's community developed, we definitely, we got to check that box. And if we start with the schools, if that's what you're asking, we definitely will start there first.
Anything, I think, to get the community involved and let it be their project. Let them design it.
And that's definitely the thing that the park board was an initiative. And we may have this opportunity where we can give the school one and we can give the community the other one as a whole, something like that. But we'll work that out. But it sounds like we're heading in a good direction.
Same direction, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
For sure.
Do you like Greetings From or just Highland Village, or is there something
I don't like
else?
reading.
Okay, yep. So just Highland Village?
Hello from Highland Village or
Hello?
Highland Village or something,
Howdy.
but greetings. No,
Howdy.
I'm not into howdy.
You're not a big howdy?
No.
The boy howdy?
Maybe, I mean, hello from Highland Village or something like that. Highland Village home. Home in Highland Village, something. You can AI play on words. There's nothing.
Something with Highland Village.
I would
Something with Highland
say, take the
Village.
image on the right, shrink Texas down and say Highland Village big in the middle, and you put Texas down below.
Highland Village, Texas. There you go.
Highland Village is just gonna take up so much on it,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be the
2 lines almost.
So 3 things. I kind of like the postcard vibe of it. Number 2 on the postcard thing, a big thing that Phil was talking about when we were on the board was about a theme when it comes to putting art in the city and how you want the entire city to be a cohesive theme. That was part of the reason we were looking at benches, is because it would kind of be, you'd see that same type of bench in that's different places, maybe with different art on it, but it's all kind of a theme. So with something like this, do we want it to be something where we would do potentially more of it in other parts of the city? And if so, would you want it to have a same vibe? So if it's a postcard here, we're gonna do postcards in other spots, Doubletree, Highland Knoll, we want it to say Unity on there at some place. Just a second thought. And then a third one is, since it's at the athletic complex, do we want it to be sports themed instead of an overall city?
Lots going on there.
well, yeah, because I like the idea of running it through the city in different places and not just there. I think starting it there makes a lot of sense, but I can see, you said, making it sports themed there, but then at Doubletree, well,
Sports, concerts, fishing. Yeah, this thing can, what do we have at Unity in terms of offering? We have fishing, dog park, pickleball, softball, baseball,
Yes.
Unity Tree, Kids Castle, Flex Field, trails. Unity, basketball court now offers a water tower that's iconic with Unity. All of these things are part of what makes Unity, but it tells a story about Highland Village and the level of activity and park usage. Now the community enjoys that part.
So what if we keep it postcard themed and it all is kind of like a hello or a welcome to Highland Village, and then at the bottom it just says something like Unity, or in another location, Doubletree, and it's everything else still says welcome to Highland Village, and then the background and the objects that you see maybe in the lettering are specific to that location.
So I propose this, great, in the discussion here. What if I get with Lori and we work on kind of the wording and the branding just as the option first? Let's start with that. Once we have the wording down, hello, greeting, whatever it is, and we provide a couple of renderings of what that looks like, bring it back and say, okay, how do you think in terms of the wording? Let's start there. And then once we have the wording, that's actually gonna be really, really good, because that becomes the palette for an artist. You know, okay, here's what we want you to do. Now we want you to incorporate art into this campus. Does that sound good?
Works for me.
And we'll work that out through the park board. But through the park board and then bring it up.
Good, thank you. Thanks, Phil.
You bet.
Clarification on consider action items, anybody? So, we have on the. We'll have that. Well, okay, so, yeah. Clarification, so guys, here's, there's several things on the action tonight, but one of them is, before we. Which one is it?
17.
Thank you. Appointing somebody to fill that vacancy of Robert's expired term. So we have that coming up. You know that Brian, Kevin, you're on here already, right? Rhonda. Yes, those three. Those three are there. So I guess that would leave, because it's a council. It has to be, there will be non-making recommendation to put on there. So leaves me, Sean, Dan, Toby. I can easily take my name off that list because I'm Sean.
Pretty much the same.
You're doing this, okay.
You don't
I want it.
Well,
Oh, well, then.
I'm gonna say, you don't wanna come hang out with Brian and me on Monday? Again?
Again,
How often do you cancel? That's rude.
Huh?
Almost every
month. Yeah, almost every month.
I'm gonna pass.
We're not, we have commitment issues.
I would like to recommend that we get Hogan on. He's got a good background in the parks. He knows what's going on. I think it'd be an easy transition. And it's only till October. We've
Right,
got to
and then we'll
reappoint
reappoint,
that.
so.
If he's
And
still
Hogan,
interested, he
obviously,
can-
he says he'd like, so whenever we get out there, then, that's good. Dan's on DCTA, so when we get out there and we make that, then I'm perfectly content. And for those reasons. So we'll take care of that out there. It's number 17. Does anybody else have anything?
And most everything else on there is Phil's, so
Yeah.
if you have a question of him,
Here to answer.
Oh, Angie, you want to just give clarification on number 16? The appointment.
Regional Transportation Council.
Yeah.
So the cities of Louisville, Highland Village, Justin, and towns of North Lake and Flower Mound all share a seat on the Regional Transportation Council, which allows for a primary member and an alternate member. Our current primary representative is City of Louisville Mayor T.J. Gilmore, with the City of Justin Mayor James Clark serving as the alternate representative. So their terms expire this year, so this is an opportunity to decide if we would like to appoint them or if there's someone else that might be interested in serving. It will be a 2-year term beginning in July. And they shall be serving on one of the governing bodies that represent.
TJ, and it's weighted, there's.
It's a weighted, yes.
So, while we might, while
It's a
there's maybe
shared
somebody
seat.
sitting in this room, we're not gonna get it. Okay, TJ's gonna get.
The biggie, the larger, the vote. Yes, there's
Louisville serve, TJ's doing that now, I guess. He's done a good job, so. And then Justin Clark, Mayor of, Justin. Is that his name? No. James.
Mayor James.
Justin has been serving there and has done, I guess, he wants to serve.
Yes, he is very excited, very interested in serving.
Do they both express interest?
Absolutely, yes.
So that one, since it is in here, we're fine with them continuing. We will include them, their names. That. Anybody else
What
have?
are their names?
I'm sorry,
TJ Gilmore is the primary. And James Clark, serving as the alternate.
He's the mayor of Justin.
Yes. And TJ is.
Anything else? Wow, man. Meetings. I guess we could move up, number 19, can we move up late work session into early work session? There's nothing.
I don't have any questions of
Any status
clarification.
reports?
Yes, you can. I was maybe discussed during the work session if Thomas.
They may have, just do number 19, we'll move it up now since minutes. And the status report, current discussion, future agenda items.
I do not.
Because the last 2 months have gone by in regards, and I know Kevin's not here, so this might be something that comes back, but the handbill ordinance. Because they had until the 28th of May, right?
The first part of June.
Yeah, June first, June
June-
first.
yeah, June 1st.
When it went in,
How's it going? Because I haven't heard or seen
knock on wood, haven't seen.
anything on my yard in quite some time.
Yeah.
No, I haven't either.
Hopefully that was enough discouragement that it's
Yeah.
not worth a while.
Yeah.
Have you received any emails in the city?
I have
My
not,
first inclination, I've
no, I have not, knock
I
on
haven't
wood.
received it.
I haven't either. I'll touch base with Kevin to see if he has talked to her,
But I think,
because they were gonna get back with him with
Yeah,
their implementation plan.
Yep.
We, yeah, to my knowledge, we've not.
anybody else have anything?
Okay.
Easy. All right, well, with that, we are adjourned. 7:07, and we will be continuing on with 7:30.
amounts.
Good evening. Welcome to the Highland Village City Council meeting. This is June the 23rd. It is 7:30, and we are going to get started. Let the record show all council members are present with the exception of Councilman Jaworski and Hurst. And so we are going to get started with prayer. I am going to lead us in prayer tonight, and then we will do the pledges after that. So please pray with me. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with grateful hearts and humility as we seek guidance in the work we do for our community. Lord, we lift up our first responders, our police officers, our firefighters, and all who serve on the front lines to protect and care for us. Bless them with strength, courage, and wisdom. Shield them from harm and surround their families with peace. We also want to remember and honor our military men and women, both at home and abroad, for their bravery and sacrifice and service. We say thank you. May they feel the support of a grateful nation, and we pray they return home safely to their awaiting families. As we carry out the work of this council, help us to lead with compassion, wisdom, and unity. May every decision we make honor you and serve the good of all the people in our community. Lord, we thank you for loving us, and we thank you for forgiving us. In your holy name, I pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Now, please stand for the pledges. Then you want to lead us in the pledges?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, thank you. Okay, so next on the agenda are mayor and council reports on items of community interest. Council, does anybody have anything?
I do not.
Okay, I feel like we're short. I look and it's like, boom, we're just.
Right here.
Yeah, yeah.
I have something.
Okay.
Just a quick shout out and thank you because I wasn't here last time, so it's been a little while. But thanks to the Highland Village Fire Department and Highland Village Police Department for their response to something that we went through as a family last month, and it was awesome to watch how fast they got to our house, the response time, and everything like that. So I appreciate both of your departments for that. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, I actually have something. We have a recognition by the Salvation Army for participating in the mayoral Red Cattle Ring the Bell Challenge. I'm going to have y'all come right up here, and I will come down there. So I think we have Tiffany, Becky, and Mark. I think it's Majors, Becky and Mark, I'm sorry. Gillum, and then Tiffany, what's your last name? Jackson, Tiffany Jackson, okay. So council, if you remember, we all participated in December. So please step right up there and.
So this past December, I believe it was at a Walmart, correct?
It was.
You all participated in the mayoral challenge, and we just want to thank you. All of Denton County, all the mayors together raised over $7,000.
Wow.
And you all raised over $670 on that day. And so we just wanted to say thank you. And on behalf of the Salvation Army, present this to you. And really, just on behalf of everyone that we help at our locations, whether it be a sheltering in Denton, in Louisville, we provide a hot meal every day, showers. But also, I want to add on to this, thank you for the funds that help with the prescription drugs and the transportation. And so on behalf of the Salvation Army, everyone who receives help, we just want to say a big thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank y'all for coming out. I will accept that. Please come. Let's get yeah. We will. Laura, you want to take a picture? Okay. Can you got us all? All right. Here we go. Yes. All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank y'all again for coming out.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks for coming
welcome.
out, y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you for all the work that you do. All right. We're going to do the city manager and staff reports. Mr. Stevens?
Mayor, a couple of items. First, the city secretary's office is taking applications for volunteers interested in serving on a board or commission. You can apply by July 31st for council consideration for this year's appointments. Visit highlandvillage.org/volunteer for details. In partnership with Texas Parks and Wildlife, we have now completed and will officially launch 5 new paddling trails on Louisville Lake. The ribbon cutting event will take place on Thursday, June 25th at 11 a.m. at Lakeside Community Park. The 5 trails within the Greater Louisville Lake Paddling Trail offer multiple access points with several options for a short half-hour or half-day paddle on Louisville Lake, adding it to a total of 8 miles in official paddling trails to the statewide program. The access points include Marauder Park, Pilot Knoll Park, Sunset Point Park, Lakeside Community Park, and Coppers Branch Park. And we do have a village report. Unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties, so if we get that working, we can show that later.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move on to visitor comments, and I have one visitor comment. Mr. Wayne Parker, you want to come up and state your name and address for the record?
Get my notes out here so I can remember my address. Wayne Parker, 342 Doubletree Drive, Highland Village, Texas, 75077.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I have several topics I want to address. One is the reflectors out here on Brazos, on the medians, whatever. I think I spoke to this subject here a month and a half ago. I still don't see any. Okay. The second point is about water restrictions. Back the first week of May, I noticed over on the pickleball courts on Selmeyer Lane, I went by there about 11:30, 12 o'clock in that neighborhood, whatever, and the sprinklers were running. A couple days later, I was by there again about the same time frame, and sprinklers were still running. I called Public Works, and of course, as usual, I got a voicemail. All right, I filed my complaint about the sprinklers being on. I never heard any feedback, nothing. Okay, I'm assuming they've been shut off because I haven't paid any attention to that time of day since that point. Okay, so if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Okay, all right. Third item. I noticed on the agenda tonight there's 3 resolutions about funding for parks, trails, and athletic fields, renovations, whatever. A couple, 3 months ago, I put in a request to the Parks and Recreation Board about putting in some horseshoe pits over at Doubletree Ranch. The request was denied. Okay, so if we can spend a lot of money, okay, on parks and trails and recreation, why can't we just spend a few dollars on a horseshoe pit? Okay. Last and final item, street repairs. Okay. Selmeyer between Brazos and Doubletree Drive, and primarily between Brazos and Merriman, okay? I mean, it's falling apart, okay? There's dips where the road is sinking, okay? I've brought this up before to the Public Works, and I don't remember what the reply was now, but nothing is being done about it. Also, I noticed just yesterday evening, okay, 407 where you turn into Marketplace to go to Walmart, you know, just as you make the turn right there, I mean, there's a chunk of concrete that is just, okay? I mean, it's deep. So my question on that is who pays for my, front end alignment? So, but anyway, just saying, street repairs are going to, you know what.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming out tonight. Okay, I don't have any other visitor comments. Okay. Perfect. All right, consent agenda. All of the items on the consent agenda are considered for approval by a single motion and vote without discussion. Each council member has the option of removing an item from this agenda, so it may be considered separately and/or adding any item from the action agenda to be considered as part of the consent agenda items. Council, does anybody want to move anything? Okay. Okay. Then, so on the consent agenda, it's consider approval of minutes for the special joint meeting of City Council and Planning and Zoning Commission held on May 5th, 2026. Council, do I have a motion?
We'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. It carries 5-0. No. Well, I know, I almost said 7. All right, action agenda. We did not meet in closed session, so we will go to number 14. Consider Resolution 2026-3241, authorizing a project funding agreement with the Highland Village Community Development Corporation to provide funds for the Doubletree Ranch Park Shade Structure Replacement Project. I think Phil is going to...
Do that?
My apologies.
That's okay.
Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Good. Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Okay, so a little bit about the background. The chessboard shade structure at Doubletree Ranch was poorly designed, and as a result, the fabric sags too low to the ground, and also staff has witnessed patrons climbing on top of the shade fabric, which is a safety hazard. The shade structure has also been vandalized twice due to the sagging of the fabric, which can be reached from the ground. The shade fabric was replaced in 2023 at the cost of $12,000 and has already been vandalized again and had to be removed. So a new shade structure that provides more support for the shade fabric and prevents sagging is needed. Staff has researched several alternatives at the request of the City Council and the Highland Village Community Development Board Corporation. So staff presented options at the regular HVCDC board meeting in on January 12, 2026, and the options are as follows. A single 4-post structure totaling $61,811, 4 20 by 20 cantilever shades at $64,795. Another option was to plant 3-inch caliper trees at $12,762, and our plant 6-inch caliper trees at $17,612. Another option was to demo the entire structure and replace with sod and 3-inch caliper trees at $36,959. And then the last one was to demo the entire structure and replace the sod and 6-inch with 6-inch caliper trees at $41,819. So the board approved the single 4-post shade structure by a vote of 6 for and 1 against. All right, so the budget impact at the January 12, 2026 meeting, Highland Village Community Development Corporation, the board approved a single 4-post 30 by 30 shade structure totaling $61,811. And the funding will come from the Highland Village Community Development Corporation budget. We also have a PowerPoint just in the Parks folder under tonight's presentation. And I'll kind of show you what the shade structure looks like.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions while we're pulling that up that I can answer?
Council, does anybody have anything?
So is the current issue just like the current 4-post structure with the solar sail is just not working right now? Is it not engineered to where that sail will actually be able to stay taut?
No, that's exactly right. It doesn't stay taut. It's too.
I'm just trying to get.
It's too large.
The sail's too large?
Snow and rain weigh it down.
Okay. And so what's the four-post structure? Is that what you're trying to show us, the four-post structure?
Yeah, showing you the existing structure and the four-post structure.
I assume this is going to be more of a, I guess, hard roof rather than a sail of some sort?
No, it's going to be a sail system, but it's going to have much more support.
So it's going to have stabilizers going up the posts into the middle
It's almost
point?
like a hip roof.
It's kind of like what they have at the Highland Village Park, Highland Village Elementary Park?
Yes, but not as big.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty massive.
Yeah.
So we worked this out in CDC, and this is what we've landed on. And this matches, the shade structure is going to match the look and feel of what is currently on the playground adjacent to it right now.
Right. So it's going to have those gaps in it?
Yes.
So it's technically going to be 4 different sails that are connected in the middle and at the 2 posts?
Yeah.
Great question. Replacing or planting 3 3-inch caliber trees, does that also require removal of the current shade, assuming a yes, but also the posts?
The posts, yes.
Would they be replacing the posts? Or would it be outside of that concrete footer?
No.
No, it'd just be the removing the posts and planting trees.
Well, I'm just, where would the trees go? Would it be outside of that concrete footer?
It would be.
It'd have to be.
Yes.
I think so.
Yep.
So the issue came about from weight of like water and whatnot on the sail, started dragging it down?
Yes. And when it droops, it sags below 6 feet.
And then you had some industrial kids
Children.
New
find their
playground
way up.
equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the utilization of the chessboard area?
It's a gathering space for shade during the park operation hours. It's pretty popular with moms, grandparents, celebrate Highland Village. It's a popular area.
It's become a gathering place for kids in that playground. The parents would sit out there and stay shaded, watch them play. Chess pieces were removed quite a
So-
bit ago.
Yes, this is the fabric, or was the fabric. And you can see how it droops.
So we looked at different options of shoring that up. One question at the CDC meeting was, can the existing 4-post be modified to create a structure, center structure for that, and then replace the tarp? But the firm that put that in would not engineer one and guarantee it. There was too much risk, so they didn't want to do that. So we looked at other options, getting different options, the options you see here. As in that conversation, this is what they came up with. So they would remove the 4-post, and they would remove them how far below surface level? Because I know those are on concrete footings.
Yeah,
Because it says demolition of the entire structure if you chose.
about 12 inches.
Okay, but it's not removing the concrete underground, it's just,
No, and it's a patch on the current synthetic turf.
Did y'all look at different options for the material for the sail? For maybe something that had maybe a little bit more porous of a surface so water wouldn't just collect and weigh it down?
Or is it going to be angled to where the water runs off?
Yeah. No, because this is an industry standard sail that is engineered for this particular structure.
Okay, so it's very specific, but it's
Yes.
also an industry standard is the big one.
Yes.
So this was replaced 3 years ago, so it's lasted 3 years. The new one, what is the life expectancy of the new one?
Oh, we have at least 8 years, 7 to 8 years, if not longer.
And that's standard?
Yes. We have several of these shade structures. The ones that are adjacent to this at the splash pad are 8 years old, roughly. This is the same company that put in the ones at the splash pad.
And is it, tell me, the material again is,
It's fabric.
it's fabric,
It's a, yeah, UV-rated fabric.
but not this.
This is too.
Pieces. One's cut in half here, and there's one connected and one connected.
Yeah, the issue with this is being so low, and you can see how it just cups in the middle and it gathers water. It just was not designed well to deflect the water and to be supportive, to stay high enough so people could walk under it.
But are we, okay,
Do you have a picture of the concept, Phil?
Right there.
oh, thank you.
Off.
Yeah, sorry. Much higher.
Okay, with,
Got a center mat, or
With a center
it's
mat.
got support. It's got four, yeah.
which makes sense completely.
So this number for the single four-post structure is putting in the new structure itself and the sails. What's the replacement cost on the sails in 8 years after that?
I don't have that number.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, but it would probably be comparable to what we're currently would be paying to replace this one sail if it was standard 8 years from now?
I would say no. It's a different sail.
So is it 4 sections?
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that happens to one section, you're not replacing the entire,
That's right. Now, we have sails across the city right now, and when they're above 8 feet, or 8 feet and above, we don't have any issues with them in terms of vandalism or kids climbing on them.
well, okay. Council, does anybody else have any questions, comments?
So we are seeking a recommendation to authorize the project funding agreement with Highland Village Community Development Corporation to provide funds for these sales at Doubletree Ranch Park.
And I can assume the problem with the trees is the fact that they're just not going to be big enough for a long time.
Slow growth.
It's going to take them a while to actually get to a point where it'll be shaded enough for anybody to want to sit there.
You gotta
Right.
hope they survive too.
Because I don't even know if we have irrigation right there.
We do.
Okay.
Well, I totally understand. I mean, it would be great to have trees, but like you said, it would be years before
Right.
it's shaded. That's a great area, maybe for some horseshoes.
Cornhole.
Under that shade would be great. And I can assure you that I don't think that the people that are throwing horseshoes, no, would climb up on top of the shade. Okay. Council, does anybody want to make a motion? You have questions? You're,
I have a question. This, I think, is going to be, no, it'll be all right. All right.
What's the current size of our shade structure? Is it the 30 by 30 that we're doing the single four post?
There it is. So the new shades, yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger than that, and we had to come inside of that because of the footings.
And the yellow is what it currently is.
Yes.
say that again, you had to come inside of that because of the,
The footings from the existing vertical post. So when they put the piers in for the new posts, we don't want to hit that concrete. So we're trying to save the surface of that, which the way that we're proposing will.
Because you don't want to rip up that turf to have to dig out all that concrete.
Yeah, and the turf patches really, really well, but it's, if we remove the post and the footers all the way down, I mean, they're probably 4 to 6 feet in the ground, it becomes a much bigger project.
Big hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, what were you want to share your thoughts? You were hesitant.
No, I think it's, we had a long discussion on this, and we battled between 3-inch and 6-inch. We came to the conclusion that the trees would not work because of the lack of shade initially, that it would take too long. My hesitancy in the whole thing was the overall cost. But the only other option to get it down was to plant trees, right? So that was the debate, and in my mind, I'm still battling that. And my question was going to be more along the lines for the attorney, but we've got a quorum, so we still have enough. If there's a dissenting vote, we still have approval because we have a majority, but we do have a quorum. So that was my initial question. But if we have two, obviously it wouldn't go anywhere. So.
And when you talk to the people who engineered this, and they said there's no way they would modify this in any capacity?
No.
We couldn't even put like a new post directly in the middle to shore it up?
We
explored that as well.
Yeah, we explored that as well.
And you couldn't just like cut it in half to where it's not one big sail, but it's two triangular sails to where it's less weight?
The issue is that the company won't guarantee or warranty the structure once it's been modified.
So we either get rid of it or we don't have a warranty on it.
But I think your question is not modifying the post.
Right.
You're only using two sails. So you've got two contact points on two of the posts, which would be the issue. But I don't think that was, we didn't have that question.
Because I would wonder if just cutting it in half would reduce the weight enough to where it's not going to have the sagging issue.
The other issue is the length, the span without having support.
Does it
The
just naturally sag over time?
Yes.
From, like, it just can't stay ratcheted enough because it's too much
Yes.
fabric over that length?
Yes, stretches.
Does that area need to be covered?
Well, that's a good question, is what I'm saying.
If the turf stays, yes. That turf it typically runs another 30 or 40 degrees hotter than you would if you stepped out on the grass. And so if the turf stays, then it needs to be, excuse me, it needs to be covered.
Okay.
So what is the replacement cost if we were just to replace the sail as it is, and then assume that it would probably last another 3 years the way that this one lasted? What's the replacement cost of just the sail with the current posts?
It was
In 2023, it was $12,000, so probably up around 13.
I would probably say 15.
I was going to say probably 15.
15.
Yeah.
So if we did that lasts 3 years.
For the next 12 years.
Yeah, we do that 4 times, yeah.
And what's our warranty on this? If we put it in, if we stick with the 61?
Do you remember it?
10 years for the sale and.
Brian, come up here. Yeah.
Well, if we
So they
replace
can
the
hear you.
sail, what would be the warranty on replacing the sail? If we get a 10-year warranty on this one?
The fabric sales would be about a 10-year warranty.
On existing, if we just replaced it?
Yes, but not for vandalism.
Right, but it wasn't vandalized until it started to sag.
Well, I'm sorry, I misspoke. When we replaced the sail last time, they wouldn't warranty the sail. The company we tried to order from could not provide it, the one that built the structure. So we had to purchase it from Craftsman, and they wouldn't warranty it because it wasn't their structure. They would sell us a sail, but they wouldn't warranty it.
So there's no warranty.
And I did ask them about doing two triangle-like sails, like you mentioned, and the same thing. They said it would change the tension on the posts, and they wouldn't guarantee that either, so.
And going back to what I said on the same, kind of the same side of the road with Brian's thoughts on this, and after realizing how hot it got, and then also after seeing this picture of that area being shaded, and I think this is probably a morning shot, if I'm guessing right, but even in the afternoon, about midday. And so being at that, where the shade would line up in the morning, midday, and then the afternoon, this was the best case from a long-term standpoint. Like I said, rather than kicking the can down the road and hoping that the replacement structures stay up, this was us talking through, I think, 3.5 hours of this entire thing, and that was the best case outside of just tearing everything up and replanting grass.
So what percentage of area is this smaller, the new one, smaller than the current one? Because it looks considerably smaller, and there's also a lot of the area that would not be covered.
It leaves about 10 feet on each side that's not covered, but you're going to have a shadow depending on where the sun is on one side or the other. Also, there was a comment made, Kevin, you just made me think of it, during the community development meeting. One of the members mentioned that there was a lot of funding put into building the surface too, you know, the base and the turf, and it would be a shame to demo all of that that's already in place. So, because if we did do the trees and everything, we still would have to do some demo.
I agree. I would hate to see it demoed. And obviously, I hadn't thought about the heat on the turf. I'm kind of like Sean, you know, it does look considerably smaller.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, can you make it rectangular to where it covers more? I know that you've got the other post to worry about, but can you make it rectangular to where it's like inside the original post but covers more of the area? I'm not a shade expert, but I'm just thinking that, you know.
But if that's the case, and it's 61,000 for that, how much would
I don't know.
would that increase the price of, you know, and
Make it larger, probably, yes.
and on a rectangle, I guess you have 4 sides that you can, you know, where you're only, because what they were saying is there's 4 different sails that are attached to
Oh,
that.
that's right, yeah,
So,
they're not one sale.
yeah,
There's
so
like
you're
only the
back
top
to
half ever gets shade.
2.
Looks exactly like the shade structures over our playground next to it. Yeah, they would match.
Yeah.
Got 8 hours.
Then the sun's over here just basically cooking the whole
And then
thing.
CDC,
No shade on it.
this is
How much
coming out
shade
of
you
the
can get in it.
4B budget.
Correct.
And you guys that serve on 4B, does it have the funds?
We do.
Yeah?
Just put them here. 1, 2, 3.
And this was discussed, obviously, you were saying at length with the CDC,
Yes.
and then Parks Board? No? Okay. So just the 4B, okay.
And I guess one of the things I'm thinking about on this too is during the morning, those tall pine trees on the southeast help with partially shading that, you know, with tree shade. But during the day, only I guess on this picture, it would be the right half is covered by shade at any point. The left half gets no shade except for by the trees in the morning. And then from noon till the sun sets, that whole space is just, that left half is cooked. And then by the end of the day, the whole thing is
Yeah,
in sunlight.
I took this photo at 11:30 in the morning, and then by the time you're in the hottest part of the day, there's really no shade there.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're, what, 5, 6 hours of the day, your shade structure's not doing any shade on that?
Well, the shade structure will, but there's no shade on there right now.
But his point is, though, you look at 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun's on the west side, it's pushing below the cover. So you're still getting sun in there.
Yeah, maybe a little on that chessboard area, but you still have a shadow on the other side of it that's going to be.
So, and the goal is not
Pretty
total
close.
shade coverage, it's having at least a spot on this during the entire day where it might move, but there will always be a shaded part, even if it's a smaller portion.
That was the idea, the part of it, yes. Yeah.
The next thing with it being a 30 by 30 instead of what it currently is that little section gets even smaller.
Even smaller.
And when it's even smaller, the sun will take up even more.
You also
Wow.
have it, you also having it separated you leave gaps and spaces in between there as well.
Yeah, and then you don't have shade on those portions.
Sure.
Yeah, could you go back to what the structure looks like now?
And now you've got.
Because it has the holes in it. It still has mostly covered with shade, but you still have sun coming through.
And those sails are also at an angle, so it's not completely flat.
Right, which helps with it's not gonna sag in the future, because it's not gonna,
It also can block more sun
Right.
if it's at an angle.
that's true.
What was the height on it again? Top of post?
Top of the posts were 8 feet.
8 feet?
Top of post, and then it goes up from there.
In the middle, it goes up.
Right, but 8 feet to reach top of that post? I mean, okay. Seems pretty low.
Well, to somebody that's your height. To me, it seems really high.
Which helps that it's not sitting 12 or 13 feet
That's
in
true.
the air. The lower
Right.
it is, the more shade it's going to create.
That's
along the
true.
way.
Well, council? They're looking for direction. That number is just, yeah, for a 30 by 30, to me, that's crazy. I get the fact that it needs to be covered. If it's going to stay turf, it has to be. But and then like Brian was saying, though, there's more than just those footings on those poles, obviously. And we just,
That's part of the cost is also demoing those old posts and repairing the turf.
yeah,
And is that demo in-house?
No, that's by the contractor.
Okay.
by the company that installs then.
Yes.
They're going to demo. Well,
I mean, even with the trees too, they're probably not gonna, even if they get to the right size, in the morning and in the midday, you're not gonna get any shade on there. It's just in the evenings or the afternoons where you'd start seeing the benefit.
okay.
All right. I'll make a motion, we approve agenda item number 14, consider resolution 2026-3241, authorizing a project funding agreement with Highland Village Community Development Corporation.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. Council, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any questions?
And the funding's coming out of the CDC 4B?
And those that are on the CDC confirm that the money's there.
Yeah.
That there's funding.
yes.
It's there.
There's funding there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what the CDC is there for. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, carries. Oh gosh, now I have to do the math. 4 to 1. 4 to 1, thank you. 4-1. Are you looking? Okay. Okay. Did we read it wrong? I got to get my glasses. My contacts are getting old.
Fortunately, the alternatives are worse.
Jeez Louise. We just.
We're good? Okay.
Okay. All right. Moving on to number 15, consider resolution 2026-3242, authorizing a project funding agreement with the Highland Village Community Development Corporation to provide funds for the city trail erosion control study. Phil.
Yes, this is a segment of the city trail along 2499 in the tunnel, the landscape beds there. It needs to be renovated with sustainable landscape and drainage designed to address erosion and landscape challenges. However, before the design can be developed, a study to provide options and cost estimates is needed. At the April 13, 2026 regular Highland Village Community Development Corporation Board meeting, city staff presented a task order from Schoenberg Polk Engineering, SPI, for professional engineering and landscape architect services to conduct a study of the project area. The board approved the study and recommended it be brought to the city council for consideration and to enter into a funding agreement with the city. SPI proposes to perform a study with 4 options to address the erosion and drainage issue at the city trail FM 2499 pedestrian tunnel and landscape beds. The study will include for each option a cost estimate to identify the most cost-effective alternative to address the erosion and drainage issues. The 4 options will be accompanied by conceptual landscape renderings, which we'll bring through CDC and also to the council for the board's review, comments, and our recommendation. So this study costs $26,600, and funding will come from the HVCDC budget, and we're asking to approve the resolution authorizing the project funding agreement with the Highland Village Community Development Corporation to provide funds for the city trail erosion control study.
Phil, would you mind giving them a little bit more background of what's going on out there?
Sure. So I'll start a little bit further back. We had an initiative, I want to say about 3 years ago, where we wanted to redo all the amenity stations throughout the city. They just needed some help in terms of beautification and usage and sustainable plant material, including upgrading the irrigation. So we're working our way through all of these. We got an opinion of probable cost for engineering and landscape services for over $1 million. So what we did is we decided to take this on in-house, and so we're working our way through all of those. And you'll notice, like at Murray, at the Round Bed, there at 2499 and City Trail, Briar Hill Amenity Station. We've put a lot of effort. We've created a sustainable landscape that is thriving. It's got pollinator plants in it. There are perennial plants that just absolutely do phenomenal. We've added some special hybrid zoysia grass that does extremely well in the heat. So it's a much, much more sustainable plan. So we have 2 areas left in this initiative, and one of them is the landscape landscape beds that flank the tunnel. The worst part of it is on that would be the west side. And what is happening is a couple of things. The landscape that was put in there was a bunch of grasses, and it looked beautiful for the first few years. We had some severe winter storms. We had 2 winter storms that knocked out a lot of that plant material. In addition to that, the plant material that was there is susceptible to grub worms and other kinds of pests in that area. In addition to that, they have drip irrigation.
So drip irrigation is great for, residential small areas. I'm a licensed irrigator, and I did studies at a previous job where I was at because the place of employment where I was working was going to put a lot of money into re-landscaping a lot of the buildings. And this was the new and improved irrigation, save money. You can water 24 hours a day. There's, it doesn't evaporate like your traditional irrigation that throws over the top like a rigid pipe system. So in that study, I put it under turf, and I also put it into landscape beds in about roughly 10,000 square feet. And it did great for the first 2 years, and then after that, we started having substantial failure in the systems. And that's attributed to the way that the system is connected. It's not solder weld like rigid pipe. It's got these barbs, and over time, and especially in Texas weather and the fact that the soils move here, it works its way out of those. So every connection point is a failure point, and there's literally hundreds of them all across a drip irrigation system. So, and this was designed originally in Israel in a desert and sandy conditions where we don't have the soil movement that we have here. So the other thing is in Texas, we have all of these great critters that go searching for water in the heat of the summer. Rats, mice, raccoons, squirrels, deer, you name it. So they'll find the water source, they'll sniff it out, and they will also dig down and cut the pipe trying to get to the water. So that's also problematic as well. That contributes to the problem. So what you wind up having is these large blowouts, and you go fix a blowout, and literally within a few days you'll have another one, and it just continues and continues to be problematic, and it contributes to the erosion. So we had been band-aiding it for several years, fixing the drip irrigation where we could, applying soil, replanting a couple times. And a lot of this is before I got here. So the history of it, I'm speaking about the 9 years that I've been here. The history of it has been problematic before that. But like I said, it did last for a while, but we need to do something substantially different. So we met with SPI out there and we said, okay, what's an easy solution? He goes, well, you could do riprap in the area. Riprap does really, really well. And I said, okay, well, I want to beautify it. I just don't want to put a bunch of rock. Can we do these little holes, where we can put plant material in there? And I said, yeah, that'll probably work with rigid pipe. So I took and I looked at what George Bush had done. I drive George Bush into work and back home. And so when George Bush went in, I don't know, 12 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever that was, they had the same landscape plan that was, and plant material on their slopes that the city of Highland Village did there for $24.99. It was pretty standard across, this area. It was a new hot thing, and eventually what George Bush was having, the tollway on those landscape sloped areas are the same issues that we were having here in terms of, pest control, irrigation blowouts, dead plant material, winter storms. So they slowly started changing their landscape to something that's more sustainable. So we went out on field trips, looked at that, my staff did, and I presented, that as an option to the board after hearing from SPI, and they said, yes, that should work. So we brought it to the CDC board, and we were going to do it over, I believe, a 3-year period is what we looked at, or at roughly about $12,000, and we're going to take a section, especially on that west side, and we were going to put riprap in, rigid irrigation, and beautify it with our perennial pollinators like we have throughout the amenity stations on the trail now. We were going to follow that successful model, but just using riprap. Well, we got Scott involved in it because we felt like there was, SPI came back out and they said, we think there's a bigger issue here. So we got Scott involved. He says, we think there may be a drainage issue here that we need to rethink and relook. And Scott agreed to, and this is also after we had contacted the Texas Department of Transportation, because 2499, that it abuts up on both sides. So we wanted to see if their drains, their outfall was contributing to the drainage issue, because on one side, especially that west side, there is a outfall, and then it just shoots straight down and goes into the tunnel. Well, there's also some history with that. That's where the city parks department had trenched and put cables there for the cameras. They did that work in-house. And so that may or may not have contributed to the problem, because what I'm getting is that that was always a drainage flume even before that. So we looked at that and said, okay, is there something that the state of Texas that they're responsible for here? And we met them, myself and Brian met them out on site, and we met with them here. And basically, it's not an issue that their road is not causing the problem. But they do want to see what that drainage study looks like to make sure it's not going to negatively impact what they have in terms of, drainage and their needs, and that the structural integrity of their walls and roads and all that is not going to be compromised with anything that we do there. So we met back with SPI and worked this out in CDC, and basically what it comes down to is that we actually need to do a study. We need to understand if anything has changed from the original drainage plan that was developed there. And Scott is actually going to be, if you will, managing that piece of it, because that's his lane. So he's working with SPI. SPI has a landscaper that they have that is under their umbrella that is also going to provide the landscaping that we need for sustainable plant materials. So there's the options are the four options are, do we go back with what was there previously? Because it was something that the city had signed off on. Council had approved, should we do that? That's option one. And what that cost is. Option two is, do we put a stem wall in there or some variation of that to slow down? Option three, do we rip wrap the whole thing and do the cutouts like what I see on George Bush in those areas now that they're doing? And then option four, I can't remember exactly what I think it was to rip wrap the whole thing. But they're gonna look at all this. They're gonna do the drainage calculations. They're gonna work with Scott. We're going to work with Scott and also the engineers and the architect, and what we want to do is bring back some renderings through CDC, work that through them with a workshop, and then make a recommendation and bring it to council as far as a direction moving forward. So there was a lot of effort going in this, including a site visit with the CDC board. We went out there and actually looked at this to get our eyes on it and understand what the challenge was. Did I leave anything out, Councilman Forensic?
I think that was pretty covered.
Okay, so this is the first part of it. The next part is getting them to do the work, getting the renderings done and bringing it through CDC and bringing it to council to show you what options we have in the opinion of probable cost that is assigned to it. So this is one of the last two maintenance areas when I stepped in that need attention. This one and then Brazos Road. So I'm trying to knock these last two out, and the movement towards that has been sustainable. Try to get something in there, and we've had a lot of success with it, have a lot of bandwidth in that area, and something that is going to be low maintenance and low cost, low touch, but still is going to provide something that is aesthetically nice to look at.
Okay. And this is just the engineer, this is just the study
Yes.
cost.
Yes.
Okay. Council, does anybody have any questions?
Did we get a idea of what it would cost to either re-landscape it or do similar to what TxDOT's doing?
No.
We don't have any idea what the numbers are going to be?
No, I don't. And I didn't feel comfortable speculating. I put a placeholder in there for the budget, but the study is the thing that we need so that I can we can present actual numbers to the board. I do not feel comfortable just getting a quote without having the engineering done, especially after SPI came back and tapped the brakes and said, we think there's something else going on here with the drainage, and we really need to double check that to make sure nothing has changed or anything like that. So, and they understand we want it, we need the problem to go away, and we need it sustainable for 20, 30 years.
Will this eliminate any of the fill that's going into the drain in that tunnel?
Yes.
Is that where it's primarily coming from?
It's coming from the slope, yes, the washout.
Both sides? East and west?
Primarily the west side. The east side is doing well. We put a little bit of riprap as a Band-Aid on one slope and around the switchback there, and it's actually doing extremely well, and it looks great. And that may actually just stay, to be quite honest with you, and just remove that from the scope and just say, look, this is working. Let's focus on plant material on the other side right there, because folks were coming down with mountain bikes and they would cut across and they would run through the plant material and they were eroding, all of that, causing more erosion rather. And I'm sure there was some of that going on the other side, on the west side as well. This is a heavily used trail section. It's very heavily used.
So you said that the majority of that is on the west side?
Yes.
Okay, all right. But the east side is.
It's part of the study as well.
They're going to look at both sides?
They're going to look at both sides.
So it's from this point down to the tunnel?
Right. Okay.
So, just very bottom line, brass tacks, the issue is that we're having an erosion problem right there on the west side that is disturbing. Well, we can't keep landscaping alive. And we're having dirt be displaced against that wall where the road is, going into the tunnel and clogging up our drains.
Yes.
Those are really the two problems.
And it's causing a safety hazard too, and a tremendous amount of maintenance when it rains. We've got silt fencing there right now to hold the soil back. But it's a maintenance wart that needs to be addressed as well.
And I'm looking at the whole thing. How much of this section is impacted? Of this western section?
All of it.
The entire grasslands?
The entire, because the water not only comes down the slope, it also, water will find the path of least resistance. It'll catch that path too, up on the top part, and it'll work its way around that rail. And it erodes and eats out the soil that's between the rail and the trail.
Because there's a thin strip there.
Yeah. It's not as bad as what comes off on the northwest slope.
And from the photograph, he's looking at maps. It doesn't really depict how low you are when you're standing on that trail. At this viewpoint,
12 feet under.
You're 12 feet. So you've got a big slope all the way down.
Yeah, because this is
from that to the roadway.
Very steep slope. I don't know what the ratio is on that slope, but it's pretty steep.
It's steep.
Yeah, very steep.
And without plant material, it just continues to erode more.
And we don't want to just put in new plant material because the current solution we have for irrigating that plant material is being destroyed by critters, and then the erosion's exposing it even further.
Right.
And it doesn't solve the problem. We got to figure out what the problem is.
And the area just needs to be beautified. I mean, it's an eyesore. It's the last of two.
When we do our last drainage study, how old is that original one?
Scott, do you remember offhand?
Okay, so 12 years old at this point?
Yeah.
Has anything changed since that drainage study was, 2014? That's what they're going to look at.
That's what they're gonna
That's what they're
look
going to
at.
look at,
Yeah.
$26,000.
Yeah. To see if there's a difference in that drainage
Right.
area there.
Well, it's also providing us a sustainable landscape plan.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, this is not design, this is a study.
Right.
But what it's gonna do is propose sustainable landscape plan for each of these. I know if we go back with the original, we're not going back with drip irrigation. And then my question would be, how are you gonna mitigate the water that continuously comes down that slope? And yeah, the answer, if all practical, is we'll maintain the plant material. Okay, well, what's the velocity? What plant material is going to hold back water and be sustainable over a 30-year period?
Cactus.
Asian jasmine.
Yeah, Asian jasmine is susceptible to freezing.
It is.
Yep. But an engineer will figure that out. I don't want to speculate.
Yeah,
There's
that's outside of my pay grade,
Yep.
for sure. Council,
can't do
anybody
it
have anything?
What was that?
We can't do it in-house. There's nobody we have qualified to do a
Not
drainage study
The
in-house.
study?
It's not our department, no. We don't, I don't have anyone qualified. No.
I guess Scott.
The idea would be is that the study would allow us to then execute what we needed to in-house after that, correct?
I don't think so.
No?
I really don't.
I think this would have to go out.
Yeah.
A lot of work to be done. Is there any way to wrap something like this into, because we know something has to be done.
Right.
Something will be done. Is it possible to wrap it into the execution of that? Instead of having a separate study, if we were to say, this needs to be done, I've got a budget for it, start on the west side, incorporate a study or, in essence, the design into the fix that needs to be done.
Say that one more time.
Do we have to have a study, or is that something that can be wrapped into, because we know work has to be done, something has to be done with it, right?
Right.
It's not like we're going to do a study and nothing's going to happen.
Right.
Is there any way that we could wrap the study into the execution? Instead of having a separate study with one group, and then is it something that could be combined into one?
You're talking like a CMAR, construction manager at risk?
Not the manager at risk, but having the study itself be part of the overall bid to...
3-for-1 deal.
Yeah.
Well, the study will provide a direction, and then the engineer that we're working with will build, after the direction will provide, if approved, going through the appropriate approval process, will provide the RFP documents. So we're working with the same engineer that is going to provide the bid documents.
So the engineer is going to do the study and then bid on the project?
No, the engineer just does the study and the engineering.
Okay.
What you're talking about is like a CMAR, where a construction manager is working with a design firm or an engineer to build a project.
I wasn't thinking that way, but I see where you're going with it.
Yeah.
And while I agree it needs to be done, what if this comes back and the numbers are just
Right.
crazy?
Paying $22,000 for something to come back and be $150,000 or more to redo all this.
26,000.
I think that was one of the reasons they wanted to look at different options.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to speculate either, but some of those options will be beyond $150,000.
And then also,
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, and then also, can we phase it out? Like I said, the east side, in my opinion, there's a Band-Aid on it, and it is working extremely well. Really, really well. So, do we phase it out and we just do the slope between the switchback and over to the tunnel first. There's, we need to get the study back to understand what that looks like and take it from there. Take it to CDC and have discussions with them about it.
And this is another funding from CDC? Well, I'm glad
And this is why
CDC
the
got
board is
that
really
money.
active right now.
Do what, I'm sorry?
And this is why the CDC board is really active right now.
Right.
Everybody on CDC said move forward with
I
this.
believe this was, yes.
Yeah, was this
This was
unanimous?
Unanimous.
Okay. All right, well, looking for a motion, council.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 2026-3242, authorizing a project funding agreement with the Highland Village Community Development Corporation to provide funds for the city trail erosion control study.
All right, council, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Was SPI the only people we asked to give us a number to do this study?
Yes, because SBI has a history of doing work that is over 20, 25 years. They are the go-to engineer for trails, and Scott can speak. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, council, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
You bet.
Thanks, Phil.
And thanks, Scott.
Okay, number 16, discuss and consider resolution 2026-3243, joining in the appointment of the primary and alternate representatives for the towns of Flower Mound, North Lake, and cities of Louisville, Highland Village, and Justin to the Regional Transportation Council of the North Central Texas Council of Governments. Council, we got an update while we were in early work session. So I would like to make the motion that we approve for primary Mayor T.J. Gilmore of Louisville and the alternate representative Mayor James Clark of Justin. So, do
I would like to ask a question first.
we'll get a motion and then you can ask a question. I mean, get a second and then we can.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
For the benefit of our citizens, we ask our city manager to enlighten the citizens on what the RTC does for us and the benefits of RTC and COG, just for a briefing so they understand what we're doing.
Sure, I'll try to keep that as briefly as possible. So the Regional Transportation Council is a group of local elected officials throughout the North Texas region, and they do make decisions and provide direction for funding of transportation projects throughout the entire region. It is a very important board. They do have a lot of weight as far as what projects get funded, and the responsibility is it is a big responsibility to do that, and it's important that we have somebody who attends the meetings regularly, keeps up to date, and keeps up with the issues at hand when they go before the RTC.
And the mayor of Louisville and the mayor of Justin have been active at the RTC?
I do know that Mayor Gilmore, being the main one, attends the meetings regularly. I haven't checked the attendance in a while, but he generally, I think, is at almost every meeting.
And they've both expressed an interest in continuing to serve?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have one more question. What are some examples of regional transportation items that they would discuss?
You know, it is a small one, the funding for the on-ramp from Highland Village Road I-35. That was a decision that RTC made. That's very small. Others would involve some of the projects on Interstate 35 right now, the widening through Louisville, Carrollton, Denton. So impacts of pretty big magnitude.
Anybody else? Council?
Thank you.
All right. All right, I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Carries 5-0. Okay, number 17, discuss and consider Resolution 2026-3244, appointing a council representative to fill a vacancy for an unexpired term on the Highland Village Community Development Corporation. Angie, do you want an update from Angie on this, or? Okay.
So Mayor and Council, with the recent election, Robert Feaster had termed out, so he's no longer serving on council. We do have council representatives that currently serve on the Highland Village Community Development Corporation. And with his seat, with him no longer on council, obviously we have a vacancy created now on that board. So this is an opportunity for council to discuss if they would like a representative to serve to take the unexpired term for that position. It will run through September of this year, and then they would have the opportunity, if they wish to serve again, when we go through the annual board and commission appointments in September, or if not, someone else could be appointed to serve in that position.
Okay. Council, does anybody have any questions?
No, but I would like to make a comment as the chair of the CDC, serving on that board, because it affects our trail system and our parks. I would like to recommend that we appoint Councilman Eathington to the board to serve out the remaining term of Mr. Feaster due to his serving on the Parks Board and his familiarity with it. And I think it would be a seamless transition for him to go into.
So is that your motion?
That will be a motion.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Council, do I have a second to that motion?
We'll second.
All right, so, council, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion? Anybody else want to throw their name in the hat? Nope, all right. So, a motion and a second. All in favor for Hogan to fill the unexpired term, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same side. Carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Hogan.
Yeah. Just another chance to serve.
All right.
Welcome to the club.
You and I are not in that club. Okay, number 18, consider, I had to put my glasses on, contacts are dirty. Consider Resolution 2026-3245, authorizing a contract for construction services with Sports Field Solutions, LLC, for the Unity Park and Brazos Field renovation project through the city's cooperative purchasing agreement with Texas Local Government Purchasing Cooperative by Board. Oh, I was going to say Phil, but it's Brian.
Good evening again. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little background on this project. The drainage and irrigation at the Unity Park Flex Field and the Brazos Park Flag Football Fields is not adequate, and renovations are needed in order to continue to provide viable turf and a safe and durable playing surface for the users. A new irrigation system will provide better head-to-head coverage so that all areas can receive the necessary amount of irrigation and the turf can be better maintained. Grading will also allow the fields to drain properly during inclement weather, and the new hydromulch with sports turf seed will provide a more durable playing surface. The project's total cost for both parks is $442,430 and will be funded with funds earmarked from the 2022 bonds. There will be an additional cost that is yet to be determined for a new water meter just at Unity Park, and that cost would also be absorbed by the 2022 bond contingency. Before we ask the council for approval, I want to show a couple of slides real quick, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about and the scope of the project. This is a photo of the flex field at Unity Park. And you can see from the aerial the circles and kind of showing where the irrigation is not reaching head to head. That causes a lot of compaction in the soil. It's not being watered properly. We can't maintain good turf there, and the weeds start to take over. And part of this project is we get a lot of complaints about this area, and a lot of the citizens are asking us to do something about it, make it a nicer playing surface. The scope will include, they'll apply an herbicide 1 to 2 weeks prior to groundbreaking. They'll remove the existing irrigation heads on the old system. They'll remove and haul off all the old unwanted vegetation. And then they're going to incorporate a 1/4 inch of sandy loam material into the soil profile, and they're going to laser grade. They'll then install a new irrigation system, and part of that irrigation project is they will make sure they don't disconnect the old system so that it doesn't work anymore in the common areas. They have to keep the common areas working, the areas in the rest of the park, because this system will be on its own meter just for the flex field. So they will make sure the rest of the system that services the rest of the park is still working. Then they'll also fill in and compact the irrigation trenches, and they're going to hydromulch the field with sports turf Bermuda seed. Okay. The next slide, this is Brazos Park. We're not going to do the entire park area, but just approximately half of this field where they play flag football. And the scope of the project is going to be exactly the same as what we're doing on Flex Field. They won't need a new meter there because the meter there is only for that area.
Is it the west side of the park that's getting it?
Yes, they're one closest to towards City Hall.
And it's also 138,000 square feet?
Let me make sure. Oops, sorry. If I can go back. It's not the same as the flex field. I may have gotten that number. I believe it was, I believe that was 113.
113 for Brazos?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool.
I think I had a mistype.
Because I knew Unity Flex Field
It's
was
not the
supposed to
same. It's a little bit smaller than flex field, yeah.
No worries, thank you.
So you said Brazos Park, it's going to be the part, half of it that's closest to City Hall.
That's where they play flag football. Yeah.
Technically 2/3.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than half, you're right. Yeah.
So why would you not do the entire field?
Just because of the costs. At the time we had this project designed, we were trying to save on the cost a little bit and just focus on the athletic fields. I'm sorry.
Does that far right side get used?
It gets used, but not as much as the athletic program on the other side. That's heavily used for flag football.
Same process with this one?
Yes, sir. Exact same scope.
The Unity Park, you said they're going to remove the heads. Are they also going to replace all of the piping?
Yes, they'll put in
transfer system?
Yeah, they'll put in a whole new system. Yep, new pipe, new heads.
A complete replacement.
New meter, yeah.
And there's no alternative?
Not with the existing system. It's not designed well, and it doesn't cover head to head, which is what we need to cover the entire area and irrigate it properly.
Can you go back to that picture, please? The Unity? That one. So that field gets used a lot during
Yes,
school.
it's very heavily used, yes.
Are we
it's-
concerned about that, if we're going to spend all of that time?
Well, that's why we want to do it, because this is the only green space left in that park for people to use for those type of activities. And we do get a lot of complaints about the current condition of the turf and the amount of weeds we get there, the amount of compaction. So we need something that's going to be more durable over time.
But the amount of use that it gets is not going to wear down what we're putting in, the grass and...
Hopefully not as much. I mean, it could still wear. We could still get some wear in some areas, but it'll be easier to maintain with this type of turf and this type of irrigation. This is the same company that did our baseball fields recently. They did an amazing job, and it made a world of difference on our baseball fields. They looked the best they've ever
There's people raving about
looked.
the baseball fields.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
We get a lot of play on those fields too every day. Yeah.
So, I had another question. I can't remember what it was. Council, does anybody else have any questions? Oh, I remember what it was. Hold that thought. If this is approved, when will we take care of this?
We would start this summer.
When?
We would start this summer, almost immediately.
So-
Because right now, the contractor's waiting on us to get it approved. They're ready to start.
So while school's not in and, because obviously when they're doing all that work, people are not going to be able to use that field.
Right, yeah, we have to.
How long would it take? Sorry.
We're thinking the project would probably be close to 90 days. They might be able to do it quicker. It depends on their schedule.
You have a lot of small groups that practice soccer and different things out there, and you have weekend individuals utilizing the park for their play. We're going to displace all of these people. Do we have an alternative for these people to go? Or are we going to direct them to other locations?
The only alternative we may have is at some other parks, but we will displace some people for a while.
Are we going to reach out to the small soccer groups that practice out there?
We can try if we have their contacts. We can definitely contact our soccer group and maybe the neighboring cities.
They're not playing right now.
There's people out there every day, early morning and late evening practicing.
Honestly, DoubleTree is a good alternative that doesn't, believe it or not, maybe because we don't go out there as much, but I think Brazos gets more used than what that soccer field does at DoubleTree in regards to practice. They might hold more games, but Brazos is used more for practice, so DoubleTree is a good alternative.
And just to clarify, we don't really allow teams to have scheduled practices there. It's supposed to be, at Flex Field, it's supposed to be an open green space just for pickup activities and free play. It's not really a practice
It's not
site.
scheduled practice.
Right. If teams are practicing there, they're not really doing it with our permission, so, yeah.
Kevin, you had a question?
The first one was what Sean had asked, which was the time frame. Obviously, 1 to 2 weeks prior to breaking ground, I assume is included within that 90 days.
Yes. It could be quicker. I'd have to talk with the contractor about their schedule. The 2 weeks to apply the herbicide and prepare the area, then they have to put in the irrigation, and then it's going to take about 14 days for grow-in once they hydromulch with the seed. So
I will make a comment, not as much about Unity, but Brazos, just because we practice football there using our partner Neighborhood Sports for the last 6 seasons. And it is I believe, something that was needed a long time ago. While the price tag is hefty in some of those spots out there, even for me as the old man that I am walking around, I risk either tripping or falling into a hole. It is extremely unlevel. You get lucky, especially this time, even right now, there's minimal grass out there because of just the use, and I don't even think it gets overused, especially with practices in the fall and in the spring, but it is that 2/3 of that entire park is what I would assume could possibly be dangerous, because at no point do you run across a 10 or 20-foot track of a straight line to where it doesn't either dip or pop back up. So that park needs something if we're going to continue to use it as a park, to me, and that's just me using it on a weekly basis for the last 3 years.
Well, I know when I drive by, there's a lot of people out there.
So a lot of people.
yeah, both places are very heavily used, and this would make it a much safer surface for that type of activity.
Which I agree with, but I am still concerned about notification, right? We're going to spray a herbicide, wait 2 or 3 weeks before the contractor comes out and work. We're not giving any type of notification that there's been a herbicide sprayed. We're not giving them notification that we're redoing the parks, that we don't want them to use it at that point, right?
Right. Okay.
I can speak to that as a license applicator. We will follow the label. The proper notification will go out to the community. We will work with Lori on that. And we typically, we started, I don't know, about 2 to 3 years ago, putting these signs up there that speak about the work that's going to go on. I can't remember if we put QR codes on them or not, but you can find out information about what's going on. So we will do that public outreach process, definitely. And in terms of the fields, another area that needed improvement when I stepped in, and I met with all the youth sports organizations, and neighborhood sports was one of them. And that was one of the questions. What does it look like for getting our athletic fields renovated? And you're right, they need to be renovated. Baseball was much worse. And so we started there, and we're slowly working our way through all of the athletic fields in the system. But this is the last one in terms of program space for football. The type of grass that is going out there is a seeded variety Bermuda grass that's much more aggressive than your common Bermuda grass. We're having, I can also speak as a master certified professional turf grass manager who has renovated fields throughout his whole career and is a private consultant, that this field will perform much better. It will have better water holding capacity. You will have, just a much better field once they're done. It'll respond better to the usage. Because you have modified the soil in a way that will hold nutrients, hold water. You're putting a better quality grass, and you've got head-to-head coverage with irrigation. So in terms of divot recovery, things like that, here it'll be at a minimum 50% better than what's there now. And you will have a level playing surface that is much better than what it is now. And it will perform much better, sort of like what you're getting right now with the comments from baseball and softball. And the same thing with soccer. Soccer is, we actually started with soccer when I first got here. That field was redone, but I had to do some modifications to get it to where we did as a team to get it where it is now. So we're wanting to do the same thing, not only here, but also the prime green space in Highland Village at the definitely the most used park. I mean, we get over approximately 200 plus visitors to Unity Park annually. And that space in the front is used, I mean, I've seen it, you see it in the summer. It's used by, the community as a whole to come out there and play picnics. Tremendous amount of picnics that happen out there. But there is a lot of free play soccer, a lot of free play frisbee, football, things like that, not programmed whatsoever. We don't want to program this space because one of the things when I came in was, and Mayor, you were here at the time, is we have no space as residents where we can just go and play without having to pay. We've got all of these select groups, football, soccer, whatever it is, taking up all this space. So the decision was say, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this and just leave this open space for the community to use. Now, moving forward, we're going to look at other areas where we can gain practice areas, and we're already actively doing that within the department to see, because that's also one of the community's high priorities is to add more practice space and what that looks like. But this is going to be a tremendous improvement to this space, and it's going to be, I feel, a huge benefit to the community overall because of the amount of people that it touches, both of these projects.
Okay. Hogan, you had a question?
Appreciate your patience, but can I get just like a quick 3-minute break? Yeah, I'll
Sure.
be back real quick.
Okay, sure. Wants to take a break.
All right, apologies.
All right, yeah.
Can somebody hit the timer?
You're on. Turn that timer on.
I'm going to ask for clarity.
Really nice. Okay.
All
I
right,
have one
thanks.
You're
one
welcome.
more clarifying question. So you had mentioned that this is the only open area for families. Is the area that's in front of the stage at Doubletree Ranch, that's open area as well, right?
It is, but it's not used, yes, it is.
Okay.
Can someone go there and
But
play
it's similar
Frisbee?
to what this would be?
Yes, exactly, at that level. We're trying to get it at that level. Yes.
Yeah. And that's really nice.
Yes.
At Celebrate Highland Village. That grassy area was amazing. So, all right. Okay.
So a question on this. I know that Dan had brought it up in another meeting, but there was that one additional field option that was being considered a long time ago, a few years back, to go in this space.
Correct.
If we put this in, would there be anything that would then have to be removed if that ends up coming back around?
The contractor has the rendering of what that looks like in that area.
Okay.
So it will be installed in a way where you just cap 4 zones.
Okay, so there wouldn't have to be a major
Nope, we took
tear
that
down
into
of the irrigation
consideration.
system, and you could easily tie in as necessary. Okay, that's good.
All right, now I want to be careful with that because we just sold this as being an open area for families.
Right.
Right.
But now there's like this thing in the back of everybody's mind that there could be scheduled fields in the future. If this is one of our last remaining, especially on the west side of the city, that's open for families, I think we need to be conscious of that in the way that we're selling it.
Absolutely. Okay.
And I know Brian was saying we got a lot of complaints about it. Was it mostly just around the quality of the turf? Were people thinking that it was dangerous, or was it more of a just like they didn't like the look of it, or it was?
Quality of turf, there's depressions throughout the field that hold water. Weed population is extremely high because of the compacted areas, and we don't have head-to-head coverage. So you can't really kick off an agronomical program that's going to be successful, like what you see at Doubletree, what you see at baseball, what you see at softball. So you can see when the soil's amended, the right grass and the irrigation, all of those pieces are in place, you see a pattern of success throughout the city when those are done right and or have been renovated. And this will fall in line with that.
Okay. And doing both at once, are these prices contingent on that occurring at the same time with this contractor? And it would change the price of it if we did just one field instead of the other field?
No, we broke it up this way, but, you know, if we only chose to do one and then do one in the future, the cost will go up. But this was identified in the bond, and there's funds to do both of them.
Are they going to run in parallel?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, would probably, because football is programmed, you would start with football and try to get that. And we've already spoken to neighborhood sports, and if they have to move games, you know, they have a cache, if you will, of playing areas that they can move. They want to see this done too. So they'll work with us. The only thing that's going to be inconvenient is practice. So I can tell you that football will take priority. Brazos will go in first.
And that doesn't start until September.
Okay.
Are these 2026 numbers?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay.
looking for.
Council?
Too.
I will entertain a motion.
Anyone?
I will make a motion that we approve agenda item number 18, resolution number 2026-3245, authorizing a contract for construction services with Sports Field Solutions LLC for the Unity and Brazos Sparkle Field renovation projects through the city's cooperative purchasing agreement with Texas Local Government Purchasing Cooperative.
Okay. I have a motion. Council, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion and second. Any further discussion?
I'm just looking at numbers real quick, trying to do math to see what the difference is between the original bond numbers and the current 2026 numbers. Thank you, Brian. Sorry, I didn't get this done earlier. fine.
You have a question or a comment?
No, I guess not. All right, thank you.
You sure?
Yeah, no, I think it's just inflation and just normal prices have caused it to go up that much. And these were 2022 numbers that are now 2021 numbers that are now 2026 numbers.
26, yeah.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
good. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Carries 5-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so council, we did late work session, status reports and current projects in early work session. Does anybody else have anything?
I do. I think we,
Why did I ask?
You said we already did it.
yeah, that's what you get. No, I think I forgot to earlier, but just another shout out to the city, everyone who put together and made Celebrate Highland Village awesome. It was a great event put together by everybody, so thank you all for that. And that was it.
Oh, and I wholeheartedly agree that the entire city, every department participated in that, and it was a great event. So,
We'll show the video at a future meeting, so.
all right,
Sounds great.
perfect. All right, well, if that is all, then we are adjourned at 9:10.